Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Loopy Doods podcast. I am one of your hosts, Mario from Mostly Coasters, and I am joined with...
the other one of the two hosts, Drew from
Yeah,
Parks
there's two of us. We have a very hefty, meaty, full episode of stuff to talk about today. But Drew, how you doing, buddy?
Just released Cedar Point, ranked by you last week, actually, because we're filming this one.
It was actually ranked by your viewers. It
yes.
wasn't ranked by me.
Well,
I didn't.
True. Wait, you didn't? You didn't participate?
No,
in this?
I honestly, I don't remember.
That's true. It's been out for a very long time, but that video is
I think
out.
so, right? Okay,
yeah,
the poll's been out for a while.
The poll went up in 2020.
Did it really? Okay, I
Yeah.
definitely participated then.
Yeah,
I
so there's some
just don't
rides that
remember.
are on the list that don't exist anymore, and some of
Nice.
them have name changes. It's fine, but the video's up. It's doing pretty well, I think. So that's cool to see.
They're good. If you haven't watched Drew's these videos, ranked videos, they're super fun.
Thanks. I'm trying to do one once a month. That's my hope, with SeaWorld Orlando being next, and then Silver Dollar City after that. But we'll see how that goes. I just need enough voters. If you haven't voted,
I was gonna say, are the polls still up? Because it's
Yeah.
super fun to be able to participate in the content that you're watching. So
yeah.
go ahead and check out. They're in your YouTube community tab, if nothing else, right?
Yeah. Well, I have a link tree. I'll put it in the description of this video. And it has all of the open polls currently. Even if some of those polls have 0 voters or 89, I think, which is the top poll currently with SeaWorld. But yeah, they'll all be in the description down there. So that's fun.
And the more people that participate, the video's more better.
That's true. It does get more accurate as you go on. So if you only have like 50 people voting, then you can have some pretty crazy discrepancies. But if you have 1,000 people voting, let's say, typically you're going to have a very small margin of error at that point. But yeah. What's happening with you, dude? What the heck's going on? We're filming this early. There's a reason for that.
Well, I'm just eating some candy out of my Toombeely shot glass, but aside from that, yeah, I'm going to Hershey in 2 days, so gotta pack. It sounds like we're doing this early to rush to do something more important than just packing, but I have to pack. I have to get some videos done so that content comes out while I'm there, and I have to constantly stress about whether or not one of the rides is going to be open, which can be our first topic for the day. Dive straight into this one. Wildcats Revenge has been closed for the past 5 days, I think it has been.
Something like that.
Has been closed here and there. Recent photos as of, I think, this morning, maybe yesterday.
I think it was
show
yesterday. Yeah.
Having trenches dug around the footers. Not exactly what you want to see with a park's brand new attraction,
Yeah.
especially when you're going to be visiting in the next couple of days. So, let me show y'all the website. That's the wrong tab. And there's the website after it loads. Boom, there we go. Wildcats Revenge, new and temporarily closed, as you can see here. So yeah, it's officially listed as temporarily closed on the website. I found out this morning when I was just curious what the wait times are like around this time of day over there. And the app showed it as closed. So I was like, okay, rides have downtime. But nope, I hopped onto Reddit and it turns out it is actually officially temporarily closed.
Yeah.
Which is not a great sign because that is the park acknowledging that it is not just a temporary downtime that you would have throughout the day during normal operations.
Yeah,
So
it's definitely something much bigger
not
than that.
ideal. Let me pull up the picture that was posted as well
Yeah, that tells
So you
I
can
think
get
a
more of an
greater
idea.
story. Yeah.
of what's going on. This is very, very unfortunate if the picture would load. Yeah, they have some, what do you call these thingies? Bob the Builder, can we fix it things out on the scene. Digging up the dirt underneath the track, and here in particular is very concerning to me. These are just naked footers. It looks like maybe they're going to pour some concrete in there or something. This is not what you like to see. This is also not the same as just, Steel Vengeance being closed every morning to hammer a couple of planks of wood, as was the case on our 2019 visit to Cedar Point,
Yeah.
This is not, we'll just get the ride open a little later every day type stuff. This is the foundation of the attraction is in question. Not great. I don't know. We it seems like every single episode we've been doing lately is about how there's questionable, not maintenance necessarily, but there's just questionable integrity in the in the upkeep of the attractions, or in this case, the construction potentially of the attraction. It is the footers. Those are the things that have been around since the beginning of Wildcat, before it got its revenge.
Well, it depends on because some of them are new, so it might actually be new ones potentially too. I would.
What? Looking at it, actually, it's the steel beams coming off the supports. Like for the forgive us if you're like an engineer or something, and we're just sound like complete idiots. But the additional support to the wooden supports, so it's like coming off of the metal beams. So you're right, actually, those would be the new supports.
Brace. Yeah, and those were
brace. That's the word I was looking for.
Well, here's the thing too. I've heard from quite a few people that have visited and ridden the ride that first, wow, I'm forgetting the name of the inversion. The step up underflip.
Well, come on, they haven't crammed it down your throat enough.
I know. But apparently that turn moves a lot, which is totally expected considering how quick it runs down that first drop and immediately into that first inversion. I've heard that this is the most powerful RMC in terms of positive Gs as well. So it's like all of this is lining up. I mean, there have been pretty interesting changes to all the large scale RMCs outside of, I think, Zadra, which was a ground up version of their ride. But yeah, like Iron Gwazi, they had to add those metal braces eventually. Then with Wildcat, now we have this, and then with Steel Vengeance, as Mario mentioned earlier, there was a time where they were literally replacing random pieces of wood every single morning because it wasn't holding up, or they added some cables as well to stop some of the major sway at some point. So this is not something new to the large scale RMCs. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the trains being so heavy, as we've heard time and time again, because they all use the larger, heavier dual axle trains. But yeah, it's very interesting. This is the quote from Ben Tika, who posted this on Reddit. Significant work being performed on the footers of Wildcat's Revenge, with the footers dug out and rebar in place. I counted at least 8 footers dug up, and then wouldn't expect it open until they get concrete poured and cured. And that's pretty much where the quote ends.
Well, and then they'd have to do cycles too. I don't know if it'd be the same requirements as opening a brand new attraction, but it's not tweaking some of the sensors to make sure the brakes aren't faulting as much or whatever. We've not seen, like you mentioned, RMC has seen its fair share of complications with opening new attractions, but we've not seen any foundational concerns, which is wild.
Well,
someone was speculating that it's the Gophers. I don't know if that was a joke or not, but I mean, hey,
maybe
it could be, man. Nature likes to mess with coasters too.
I'm gonna look it up. Is there a
if there is a gopher problem, you could maybe they're digging enough holes to. But yeah, the rebar. I completely agree. Concrete probably. Which would make sense. Then the ground is more solid, and there's going to be less unintentional sway, because you expect the supports themselves to sway, because you were talking about sway. The supports and the track itself is 100% meant to sway. The footers are not meant to move at all. So if the footers are moving, that's where the concern comes in. And I mean, good job for Hershey Park jumping ahead of any potential problems, because people only notice the structure swaying, which is completely normal. So, it's better that they take the extra precaution, despite the fact that it might completely ruin my vacation. No, but the safety is more important, and I'll just have to
Well,
enjoy
hey.
their like 14 other coasters. So
Yeah, exactly. You have 14 other coasters.
I mean, we've been
to
planning on
ride.
going since before this was even announced. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I'm just gonna pretend that it never existed, and I won't get to ride regular Wildcat.
I
Oh
will
no,
say-
regular Wildcat's closed. I'll have to go on the other ride. It's like that wouldn't be that big of a deal.
No, I get that. But like Hershey as a park is one of the best in the nation, pretty easily. It would
That's what I
seem.
hear.
At least in terms of amusement park. I don't know if I'd consider it a theme park because there's like bits of theming here and there, but it's not like cohesive areas or lands. Typically, at least from what I've seen.
Yeah.
But still, you got Sky Rush, you have Candemonium, you have Fahrenheit, you have Lightning. No, what's Storm Chaser? No, that's the Lightning. What is that horse one? The launch
Storm Runner.
Storm Runner.
Dude, it's so hard too. Like
confusing.
I also literally just did it go up today? Yeah, I just posted the Kentucky Kingdom video, so like I'm also in the storm confusion with you.
It's so much. There's so many.
It's too much.
storm-themed rides. Yeah, it's.
There's other things to theme things to than weather.
Trailblazer. You get to ride Trailblazer.
Desert Storm.
It's just-
Trailblazer,
it's-
yeah.
It's all so confusing, man. Laugh Track. That's an interesting one. That's brand new and not copied anywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's tons of new food. That's my problem. If I visited Hershey, I'd probably spend like $300 on food because
I'm very excited for the food.
man,
Very
ooh.
excited for the food.
Like, I don't care for a Hershey's bar. I think it's one of the worst chocolate bars ever. But I will admit they do make some good candy and potentially some probably really good shakes. I've seen some of those shakes. They're like called monster shakes or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Huge. Let me look at a list of Hershey's candies. We should do a tier list right now. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my god, I'd be so down to do it at a different time that isn't right now.
After you visit the park, maybe we could.
But their like menu also here, let me pull it up, I guess. They have like
I forgot about Kit Kat. Kit Kat's goated.
Things to do, the Chocolatier restaurant, bar, and patio. That's what's exciting to me. They have like candy cocktails. They have like savory dishes infused with candy as well.
Yeah.
Like what do they got? There was like this. There was like this Heath toffee seared salmon thingy that sounded interesting. There goes my water bottle. All the desserts obviously seem interesting, but it's like, you know, desserts with chocolate in them is a dime a dozen. But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Their stuff sounds yummy.
Just make sure you brush your teeth a lot.
Don't tell me what to do. Okay, so like this grilled shrimp street taco,
What?
cocoa and chipotle rub, corn, black bean salsa, citrus slaw, cilantro lime crema, wrapped in a corn tortilla. So it's like they infuse candy into like not all the stuff if you don't want to be adventurous, but
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff, which is super super fun. Like this chocolate barbecue sauce, that sounds really good. I love boysenberry barbecue sauce, so I'm all about theme parks infusing random stuff into
Well, here's the
barbecue
thing.
sauce. I'm
Barbecue
just realizing
sauce-
that I have this open on a tab that nobody can see.
Barbecue sauce is so sweet anyway. I mean, I've made it before. I've made my own boysenberry barbecue sauce with the Knott's recipes. And it's literally like ketchup and just a buttload of brown sugar. So putting something sweet in tandem with it typically should work pretty well. And I think that's like why boysenberry works really well. I could see, you know, chocolate barbecue sauce.
Chocolate boysenberry. I could see chocolate boysenberry too if I went to Knott's Berry
here's the
Farm.
thing.
I could see it.
Yeah. Did you ever try that? I had it.
Yeah,
It was not good.
I think so.
They had a chocolate boysenberry sarsaparilla a couple years back, and it was like you could taste all three flavors individually, but they wouldn't mix. It was really weird.
Gross.
Yeah. I've got the front page for Hershey Park open, and it's like Sky Rush, Candemonium, Fahrenheit, ends on a shot of Wildcat's Revenge, and it's just like, oh.
Yeah, I know, man. It sucks. Yeah, it's not good, but it is what it is. They're doing whatever they need to do.
Well, hey.
I'm sure they didn't want to have to label it as to temporarily closed either.
Yeah, of course not. Hey, one extra positive. They have a water coaster. Or an aqua coaster, whatever you want to
They
call it.
do. I wonder if we'll hit up the water park or not, just because we're also going to go to like Knoebels. I'm going to do Dorney at some point. Maybe Dutch Wonderland.
I think it just
Hopefully Lakemont.
depends.
There's just a lot, and then we'll see family out there too. So
Yeah. Well,
if there's time, if I do the water park at all, if I only do one attraction, that would be the attraction. So
fair enough. How long are you going to be at Hershey? Like, how many days do you think?
at least 3.
At least 3. Well, then you should probably
two
have
two
enough
with
time
two with Javi, and then 1 to just like film and do whatever I personally want to do
Okay.
by myself.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, that should be enough time. I think in my head, that's enough time to
Yeah,
go to the
totally.
water park for a little bit, and also check out Zoo America, which is attached to the park, which is kind of cool. Even if it's kind of small, but it's just an extra thing to do. I feel like that is perfectly built as a 3-day park to me.
What do you think about this one? Reese's Take 5 chicken sandwich.
What?
Reese's peanut butter and jalapeno caramel grilled chicken. Hershey's chocolate drizzled house bacon, lettuce, and a pretzel roll. Seems that one seems questionable. But see, that's why I'm excited. I'm excited to see if any of this like sounds really weird but ends up working, or if it sounds really weird and ends up tasting really weird and disgusting.
I don't know if you've
it'll be
seen-
interesting.
There's a couple channels out there. I forget the name of their channels, but they're like kind of BuzzFeed-esque, if you will, and they do like tasting around the parks. I've always wanted to do that, especially at Hershey, just because of weird items like that, because that sounds so awful.
Yeah, it does not sound great.
But it could be amazing. Like that's the thing, and I would love.
I think if it was
to,
just the peanut butter or just the chocolate, but chocolate
Yeah.
and peanut butter is a good
With
combo. I don't know if
chicken
in
and
conjunction with jalapeno.
that's-
Yeah,
that's, I
spicy
don't
and
know,
chocolate
dude.
works.
Yeah,
I think peanut butter works in peanut in general works with savory.
yeah.
Although
totally.
it specifically says Reese's peanut butter, so it's like I don't know.
Yeah,
It's not like a Thai like peanut sauce
Dude,
or anything like that. I don't know, man.
I'm gonna be a straight up hater right now. The peanut butter, okay, Reese's kind of sucks. I'm gonna be honest.
It's very
it's
chalky.
It's so chalky, and like half the time it's like the peanut butter is just so oily, and it's just I can't do it. Hershey,
Should I get this?
sorry.
Should I get this and report back?
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
I might
would
get this
love
because
to-
it seems
I
like
would
the
love to hear.
grossest. Like the other stuff like seems good, but this one seems a little not great.
Watch it be your favorite thing of all time.
Maybe then I'd be very happy with that because then it'd be my favorite thing of all time.
But yeah, I mean peanut butter typically works, but yeah, I don't trust Hershey's
Okay, so
peanut butter.
this cocoa spice rub on a like New York strip, that's gonna work. Like that's way easier than peanut butter and chocolate on chicken and jalapeno.
I don't know if I like that on a New York strip. It just depends how overpowering the rub is, I guess. I feel like I don't know. I'm sorry, Hershey. Hershey, if you're watching this, I'm super excited for your part.
He's like,
I'm
I
not
want
a
to
big
taste all the
fan."
things, even if they sound freaking disgusting.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of their chocolate anyway. So like, yeah, I don't know.
What about Jolly Ranchers?
I honestly, if there's one thing that I dislike more in the Hershey lineup, it's Jolly Ranchers.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not even
Yeah.
eating Hershey candy right now. These aren't. Oh
Yeah.
shoot! They're floor candy.
Blasphemous. I don't even know who. It's got to be Mars, right? Nerds has got to be Mars. Sorry for mentioning your competitor. I'm very excited to visit your park, Hershey.
I don't know. I just ate
you-
that off the floor, by the way. Don't hate.
You have one of the best parks in the world, and I'm sorry for dissing your chocolate, but I'm very excited to visit. Please don't hate me.
Anyway, enough about Hershey
By the way,
chocolate. But
yeah, exactly. Let's talk about Nerds. They're owned by the Ferrara Candy Company. Never heard of them in
like
my life.
Ferrero Rocher.
Oh,
Is that it?
yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
The Kinder people.
Yeah, let me look. Actually, now I'm curious. This is always a rabbit hole.
People
I
don't
love.
care about you. Look at that for your own pleasure if you want. Yeah, RMCs, man. I think initially people were like, okay, this is a newer company. A lot of their rides are like innovative. They don't have it all figured out yet. I am a little annoyed, to be completely honest, and like no disrespect to RMC, but all of their rides seem to be unreliable, man. I can't think of any, like, when I went to King's Dominion, Twisted Timbers had more downtime than anything. All the big RMCs we just mentioned have had like issues with structure, or Steel Vengeance like bumper carring, regardless of whose fault that is, whatever. Lightning Rod having to be like stripped down, like new track, like in a lot of people's eyes, a different ride now. It just seems like a lot of their rides have been problematic, which is unfortunate because they build some of the best coasters. It just seems like they're Intamin-esque with having fantastic rides that just come with a lot of problems.
I can definitely agree on that.
It's too many instances now to not be considered like a trend.
Well, here's the thing. The idea in the first place is kind of iffy. You're using a lot of the time.
That's a very good point.
You know, an old structure that with Texas Giant being their first ride, that wouldn't. When did that wooden coaster open up? In like the 70s or 80s?
I don't know.
Right?
I just did an article about it. The
it
90s,
was there,
91, I think.
Was
but
it
it's
91?
like, yeah, I believe so. Or is that freaking Desert Storm?
Texas Giant opened in 90.
90. Okay.
But yeah, it was operating for almost 20 years before it was converted.
Yeah. Right.
So like,
and that's a full service life, right? Like that's exactly what you expect. I mean, you hope for more, but that's not uncommon for it to be just like the entire service life of a ride before getting completely torn down. So
yeah, especially a wooden coaster that probably didn't have the best, retracking or maintenance record all around because it was such a big wooden coaster.
Right.
And it's just.
But that's an interesting. That's a good point. Is it's an amazing concept that results in some incredible rides and allows for some really interesting confined creativity, but you are building upon old structure, old footers, old everything.
It kind of becomes the
but lightning.
Theseus
Yeah,
problem.
sorry. Go ahead.
You constantly are going to have to replace every single piece of wood eventually anyway on the ride. I mean, we've seen that with Steel Vengeance especially. They've pretty much replaced every single piece of wood on that thing at this point. And you're going to have to do that with wooden coasters regardless, but now you're putting more force on those structures. It stands to reason that you'd have to replace them in a more timely fashion than you probably would have originally because they're exerting different forces and they're the heavier trains or whatever. It's just, as much as those rides are incredible and honestly my favorite, I can't help but, think, man, the idea in itself is kind of not foolproof in terms of like maintenance or.
But it's not even just conversions. I mean, conversions have seemed to have been more problematic, but like Lightning Rod was ground up. I know a lot of problems come around the launch, and again, that's another like first of its kind type situation.
Well,
so it's like there's going to be a lot of question marks around that.
From what I've gathered, this might be incredibly wrong, but from what I've gathered, pretty much all of the issues they've faced is to do with the launch and the sensors tied to the launch.
Right.
So like, and that was the first of its kind. I haven't heard of any problems with Wildfire outside of like it actually being allowed to open because of Sweden's laws. And Zadra, I have not heard any issues whatsoever. Those are two ground ups. Outlaw Run, it's getting a little rougher, I'm sure, but like I don't think there was any issues with Outlaw, and that was completely ground up. So it's like the ground ups seem to be doing fine, from my knowledge.
Okay.
I think there was something that might have happened with Goliath at Great America, but I'm not 100% sure with that. but it seems like the track
That's a fair
record with the
point.
ground ups is a lot better than
Well, other than the
conversions.
prototype Raptors, but again, that's a prototype.
Yeah, again,
so that's
prototype. Yeah.
yeah. Maybe we don't have the full. Maybe we just stop doing conversions.
Well, here's the thing: they're gonna have to at some point, right? There's only so many wooden coasters that can be
That's
converted.
true.
And they've kind of
It definitely.
they're reaching that threshold fairly quickly.
I mean, they got their foot in the door in like the major thrill coaster market by
Mhm.
doing those conversions. They've proven that they have some of the most desirable rides out there.
Oh yeah.
Now maybe parks will be more willing to be like, how about you just build us something brand new, fewer problems, hopefully, and not as many structural issues
Yeah,
within
it's
the
kinda,
first few years of opening.
It's kind of tough to say.
Well, because Gwazi was down like opening year as well, wasn't it? I mean, okay,
well,
official opening year. Like, I just smacked my freaking reflexy part of my knee and just his wildness happening off screen.
I from what I gathered from that, sorry, I'm looking something up on the Reddit. It was, it goes down often because of wind. I'm sure there were a lot of other problems with it, especially in its opening year. But from what I gather now, a lot of the downtime it has is because wind is too high, and they're not.
Gotcha.
They can't ensure it'll make it all the way through the course if the wind is too high or whatnot. Or certain sensors will trigger incorrectly or whatever it may be.
That's wild to hear, man. It's just like that ride does not run slow. I cannot imagine that ride not making it through the layout. Like something like Steel Vengeance, I even can. Like if it goes slow through some of the parts, I could see it not having the momentum. But God, I could not imagine Iron Gwazi valleying.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm trying to... Dang it, where is it? There it is. I found it. Okay, I'm going to send this in there. I'm going to send this... No, dang it, I did...
You're not going to send it? Okay, jeez. Fine.
I did Command V instead of Command C, so I just placed it Ferrera Candy Company on the...
Nice.
This is something interesting I'm going to add. Because we're talking about RMC, right? Why do you have it highlighted?
Well, I copied it so I could show the people.
Oh,
We don't want to just be talking about something without them being able to.
Link. Anyway,
Based
new
off
RMC
of
teasers.
Yeah.
As of
okay, so that is
yesterday.
definitely a wheelbase, but still, what the heck is going on with like the actual vehicle itself?
I don't know.
That's fun. They're just releasing it piece by piece. Okay. Well, maybe that's a good transition out of talking about RMC and into like other stuff that we've been covering as of late. I don't know. Would you like to talk about Top Thrill Dragster or the new theme park? And that's a bad transition if we do talk about the new theme park because we haven't talked about that.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to talk about the RMC teaser a little bit. That's
okay.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, to me, there's nothing to go off of there. But
Well,
if you have something to say, by all means,
if
go
you look
for
in
it.
the top left-hand corner of that thing, we've got 5 more things to go. It's definitely a train, definitely a wheelbase. Some people have been saying that it's it's like tubular track, which I don't.
Oh, it kind of looks like it might be, but I doubt it, man.
Yeah, I don't. see
RMC's
that,
in love with iBox.
but it might end up being potentially. I know there was some point where they did mention this was years ago now. At one of the IAPAs, they were like, "Yeah, we'd like to be able to do something with the retiring arrows in the future." Which would be interesting, but I don't know. In my mind, I just figured they
another right to have support problems. With.
Yeah, in my mind, they would just reuse like certain supports or just the footers. That would be my guess with that. But
That's what I would have thought as well.
If this is tubular track, which I don't know if it is, honestly, what if they're making a train? It would make no sense to me because Vekoma already makes a replacement train, the MK1212.
Yeah, that does not make sense.
But like, it's just Yeah, I don't know. And then everybody else is like, this is fire in the hole for sure. There's no way it's not. It's got to be fire in the hole, which, I mean, maybe it's possible. We have seen track for fire in the hole. It's iBox from what I remember. So we'll see. We shall see. Oh, man, I got to get back.
Yeah, I got nothing to add to this, man.
Yeah, anyway.
I have
Top
literally
Dragster.
nothing to add to that because it's a picture of almost nothing. I honestly am still burnt out on Top Tail Dragster, but there is a lot of stuff, so maybe we'll just breeze through it.
You didn't link the potential leak that is probably incorrect.
It's incorrect. Today the link changed to saying you guys are stupid for believing this.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
I believe so. Yeah, I haven't been following it closely because it's obviously fake to me.
That's
and
amazing.
It is obviously fake to everybody now. There was like a website pretending to be the leaked website for the announcement of Dragster. But since the last time that we talked about the topic, Cedar Point posted this on their Instagram: "Get revved up, 8/1/23." So August 1st was just a few days away. I'm assuming this is when they will be announcing what is happening to Top Thrill Dragster. That's been out for 6 days now. All right, more stuff. Time to copy and paste. This was the only piece of news that actually got me, I wouldn't even say excited, that I was actually interested in and not just rolling my eyes at. Nowhere to go but back. These walls have popped up around the construction site for Top Thrill Dragster, and I feel like this all but confirms the fact that the ride will be going backwards at some point.
Yeah, and it's the only logical thing anyway at this point too. So to see them pretty much confirming it is just kind of nice to see. So that's cool. I will say the leak did mention a beyond vertical spike. I'm sure it's fake, but like, do you think if it's going backwards, will it be a beyond vertical spike? I'm curious on your take on this.
Potentially, but there's further evidence that would suggest that just isn't necessary. They totally still could. It just seems like a structural nightmare as well. It seems so much more complicated to do that with something so large. The fake leak also said it was going to be like 200 feet, which seemed a little silly to me because it would be like the first launch would be backwards, going up a lot of that, and then the second launch would get you all the way to the top of the top hat. It just seems so small relative to the top hat.
I think it was 3 launches on the leak. It was like 65 mile an hour initial launch, 88 backwards, and then 112 forwards or something.
So that first launch would just be so freaking lame. I feel like just barely even going up any of the top hat. I don't even think you'd end up like being vertical. Anyway, the fake leak is fake.
Well, I'm just curious.
Okay, let me show you. I want to show you the next thing. I don't know if you've seen these new construction walls. I don't remember when these were posted, but like I said, I've not been following this super closely. So 3 days ago, more teasers on the construction fence. The ad that Cedar Point posted themselves. But this says "smoke the competition."
Mm-hmm.
That to me indicates
it's a dueling coaster for sure. It's dueling
that
two
all the
top
employees are going to be vaping during the ride. No, onboard smoke effects. That's all they're adding.
It is 420 feet tall, so you know
that's a good point.
Yeah.
There's gonna be fog machines on the launch, and it's just gonna reopen. And that's going to be the only thing that's added. No,
I think that would be so cool if there were fog machines on the line. I think that would be really cool.
That's always a fun effect that runs for like 3 days when the ride opens and then never again. This to me indicates that it's going to break a record of some sort. There's no way it wouldn't.
Well,
why would it say smoke the competition otherwise? Like just as a fun little playful thing? I guess that could be the reason, but I think this indicates it's going to be a record breaker.
To the beyond vertical spike, if you make it 120 degree beyond vertical spike, you can say that's the steepest beyond vertical spike in the world. You know?
Well, I was more so thinking tallest beyond vertical because that's probably easier to beat an angle
true.
of descent. Because you can make it 91, and then if it's
And
over
then
200 feet
300
tall,
feet
you're
tall,
like tallest
yeah.
beyond vertical drop in the world. So
Yeah,
that's
no,
true.
understandable.
Well, no. I mean, you could break a ton of records.
Well,
with
there's
this.
so many. Here's
Even
the
if
thing.
it's just a swing launch, it would be like the
fastest.
it would be the
swing
fastest like
launch
swing
yeah.
launch coaster in the world.
Fastest multi.
I'm so sick of like niche record breaking. I'm over it. Like tallest step up underflip. We do love Hershey Park preemptively, by the way.
And step up underflips are amazing, but nobody knows what that is.
It's just it's more so a commentary on the problem as a whole. Just you don't have to pretend you're breaking records.
Yeah.
You don't. You can just point out the already impressive, fun aspects of your coaster.
Yeah.
Without claiming records.
Even
Because
the
it wears
general
off
public.
eventually. Yes,
Yeah, exactly.
You're probably
they're
gonna
getting
you
sick of
say
it.
what you're gonna say because you're probably exactly.
Because I've talked to plenty of people that don't know anything about parks and whatnot, and they hear, oh my gosh, tallest, fastest coaster at SeaWorld San Diego, and then they go to SeaWorld and it's just Arctic Rescue, right? And that's not on the park. That was on the media that was reporting on Arctic Rescue being the fastest on the West Coast or whatever. Well, it's the fastest straddle coaster on the West Coast. But of course, a lot of the media leaves that out. So when people show up, they're like, wait, it's only 30 feet tall. What? And it only goes 40 miles an hour. This is not what I was told. And it's just it's very common of pretty much all parks nowadays, Six Flags Magic Mountain being another one of them. Obviously, yes, it is the tallest and longest single rail coaster in the world with Wonder Woman Flight of Courage, but at the same time people are still looking at Superman and being like, I don't know. I don't get it. What do you mean tallest and longest? Sure, single rail, but do people really care about that as much as these parks are trying to put on?
Not at all. Focus less on the fact that it's quote unquote record breaking and over and having people's expectations be not be met. Focus more on the fact that it's a single rail coaster.
Yeah.
There's going to be plenty of people that haven't done one of those, period. They don't care how it compares to the other ones in the world. They probably have only done the SoCal parks.
Yeah.
Focus on the fact that is a really amazing way to ride the ride because it is. Don't focus on the fact that it's the tallest because it's like a foot taller than Jersey Devil. Yeah. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Well,
don't focus on the fact that it's the tallest, fastest, longest straddle coaster on the West Coast specifically. Focus on the fact that it is a straddle coaster, which is so fun.
It's amazing.
Focus on the fact, and this, I was going to say focus on the fact that like the theming is really cool.
Yeah.
And it's much more of an experience that you'll find at most amusement parks that don't have a ton of theming.
Yeah.
Like focus on that stuff. I know the theming, they maybe weren't positive on how
like,
much was going to get put in there, but focus on the stuff that is actually real, tangible, and anyone's going to care about. Nobody, like you said, especially with Arctic Rescue and the misreporting that media does when it comes to theme park rides, people are going to expect the tallest, fastest, and longest coaster they have ever been on. They are not going to get that. They may have never been on a straddle coaster, period, and that is going to be cool to them.
But I know people that were literally looking over at Emperor right next door and being like, "Wait, that's taller and faster. What? I'm so confused." What?
Yeah. They probably were like, "Wait, that's not the one that was being marketed towards us."
Yeah. Well, it's
100%. And even with like Wildcats Revenge, be like, for this specific region, there's a good chance you may not have been on a hybrid coaster at all. Well, look at how awesome this is. Even if you have, this one throws you around the most. Just show B-roll of people flying out of their seat. People are going to be like, that looks insane. First hybrid coaster in Pennsylvania. I think first are also probably much more interesting to people than biggest, baddest of a very specific niche stat.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's not.
Because it's a new experience. It's a new experience.
I guess Trailblazer does have wooden supports, right? But you could totally.
You can still get away with that marketing if you're trying to fudge the marketing anyway in your favor. A way that may not be 100% accurate, but is still at least going to be more interesting to people is what you just mentioned: first hybrid coaster or hybrid conversion.
To hammer in the fact that oh my goodness, wooden support steel track means you can go upside
Going
down,
upside down on a wooden coaster.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't know. There's
Just market it like that.
There's got to be some reason that parks keep doing this, and this is not just a SoCal thing, not just a Hershey thing. This is a U.S.
Every single park. If a park comes out with a new ride, they market it as the somethingest of its kind,
and
which no one cares about.
Like Iron Gwazi, right? It's the tallest, fastest, steepest, whatever hybrid coaster in the world, right? That's cool, sure.
I was gonna say that's about as far from like the actual main stats. Yeah, another one
beyond,
to.
I think this is one they could definitely hammer on. First beyond vertical drop on a hybrid coaster. That's cool.
Yeah,
I think that's cool.
Yeah.
But like, I can't help but think of Steel Vengeance, especially when we're talking about the random record grabbing. I'm pretty sure at some point they were like, yeah, this has the record for the most records on a roller coaster ever. And it was like the most ridiculous stuff.
That one makes a little more sense to me because they're just piling it on and they want people to see it. Look at all these things it does. And people are going to keep less track of that. And if they do market it as like the tallest roller coaster, and even if you see it and see that it's not that tall, it is still at least delivering an experience that is world class. You know what I mean? That is
true.
One of the craziest in the world. So if you're marketing, it's the craziest in this stat, even if it isn't the craziest in that stat, or if that stat doesn't mean that much to people, if you're marketing crazy and you're delivering crazy, that's at least
I get
a more apt comparison.
I could never get over the fact that they were like, we have 15 records on I was just like, dude, what?
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely reaching and goofy, but just I feel like from a marketing perspective, it at least is not as confusing. Because like step up, underflip, what is the audience getting out of that? Confusion. You're marketing confusion and then delivering crazy fun.
Yeah.
Just market crazy fun, deliver crazy fun. And I don't know. I don't have a marketing degree, but it's just my 2 cents. Anyway, Dragster.
We got very heated over this.
It's because it's something that's been like going on for so long, and it's so silly.
Yeah.
And I think you might feel the same way as this too, but it's because these coasters are phenomenal for what they are. You don't have to go to such lengths to try to market them as such.
Yeah, totally.
Just show people having fun on Arctic Rescue. Don't show people having fun on Icebreaker because it's
literally
not fun.
Well, here's the thing. I think they probably got tripped up by Pony Express existing because they don't know if that counts as a straddle coaster. Is my guess on it. Otherwise, I would have been like, hey, the first straddle coaster in California.
But again, it doesn't even have to be like. People don't care about the classifications of coasters, this or that. Be like, look, this experience is like you're riding a snowmobile around in the Arctic.
Which is
and that is what you're delivering. So, like, exactly. Show, like, just the genuine reactions of people. Everyone's smiling when they get off of that ride. Like, I've not seen a single person that didn't have fun on it. It's just, like, focus more on that and less on the technical stupidity of it. Like they're almost getting too coaster enthusiasts with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
It's like your marketing should not only make sense to coaster enthusiasts, because contrary to coaster enthusiast belief, we are like 0.5% of the people that visit theme parks. Don't market to us. You do not need to market to us at all. You need to market to the people that don't get it.
Granted, I can kind of understand why they might be leaning more towards it, because there's people like us on the internet that have a lot of sway with a lot of people that typically don't visit parks a lot, and we're the ones reporting on it. So maybe they're thinking in that vein of things, that we're going to think about it differently depending on how many random, like, not necessary marketing records or whatever they throw out.
That's true, but it's a bit of like a catch-22, because you're banking on the person to not know enough about the situation to recognize that that is a niche stat and just see blankest in the world.
Yeah.
But then if you're marketing to the enthusiasts, if you're marketing to anyone that does understand what the words mean and does understand what a step-up underflip is, those people are going to recognize how niche and insignificant of a stat that is. So it's like, the two different groups of people, the general public and the coaster enthusiasts or adjacent. One group is being confused. The other group understands so well that it's insignificant. So it's just like two misses. It's like, I don't know.
Marketing's hard. Shout out to all the marketing
I guess
peeps.
so. I guess that's why there's people that do.
I definitely feel for you, especially after if you listen to our little rant here, because it's a very.
No, I mean I'm not hating on the parks at all. I'm just saying the coasters are so good that like
no, the coasters are incredible.
That's a point. Is the coasters are good. You don't need the marketing to confuse that.
Yeah, and I agree. I still can't help but think of I saw so many articles, especially with Arctic Rescue, and this was not SeaWorld's fault.
That bummed me out, man. That bummed me out. It's not their fault that the media doesn't know how to do their job.
Yeah, they were all just saying world's tallest, fastest, and it was just like no. Well,
that's why they bring people like us out. That's why I appreciate SeaWorld doing that. You have people like us going who actually like take this seriously, and it's not just the seventh story on the local news that you're like being forced to type up that week. Like it's something that we're like, no, we want to get this right. We're gonna say what the park is telling us, get the information accurate. And it's like, yes, this is the longest straddle coaster, the fastest straddle coaster on the West Coast, and focus more on the aspects of the ride that are enjoyable, not just these
think about
flashy
it this way.
titles.
I enjoy Arctic Rescue more than the at once tallest and fastest coaster in the world, Top Thrill Dragster.
Oh yeah. I mean, more right now, to a certain extent, I do as well. So that and King Ka is the tallest coaster in the world. You don't hear that making anyone's top 10 lists. You see it making top 10 lists of those clickbaity sites that get stats wrong and show like El Toro when they're talking about King Ka instead. So it's like the quality is rarely reflected in the stats.
Yeah.
Like
totally.
I do understand you want something eye-catching, something to get people to just say wow, but it should not be so much of a focus.
Yeah. Anyway, Top Thrill Dragster.
Top Thrill Dragster looks like it's gonna break records. Yeah. So I guess that's how we got on this tangent, right? Is that smoke the competition?
It can mean anything.
I feel. I disagree. I feel like it almost definitely means that it's going to break a record.
Well, I think
it's just a matter of whether or not that record will be niche.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fastest multi-launch. That's the easiest one.
If it makes it up that top hat, it'd be the fastest magnetic launch in the world. Like, there's a million ways you could market anything as the anythingist.
But I think fastest multi-launch, because I know Busch Gardens Williamsburg really hammered in on that with Pantheon.
Yeah.
And that's only 70 miles an hour. Well, you got to go faster than 70 miles an hour to get up that top hat. So with Top
But it is also Cedar Point, so it's like they take pride in breaking.
It is, but like
they do take pride, like aside from all the Steel Vengeance nonsense you mentioned, they do, and in the past have taken much pride in breaking more substantial records.
I guess. Yeah.
I could see the top hat being over, like, at the very least beating King Ka. Like, that would be kind of cool to see the previous height record holder take it from the record holder. How do I say this? It'd be really cool. So, okay. Top Thrill Dragster once owned the title as the tallest roller coaster in the world. King Ka stole that title. It would be really cool to see Top Thrill Dragster take that title back. You never seen that in the coaster world before. It's like some boxing or like WWE rematch thing, but in the coaster world. Like, that's very exciting. So that would be really, really cool. Even as someone that maybe doesn't think that Dragster was the best ride ever, but I think that'd be really, really interesting. And I think you could, and speaking of marketing, I think you could market around that pretty well, right? Like, just be like, same way they did with Steel Vengeance, right? They're like, we used to own this part of the park until Maverick came around, but now we're back with a vengeance. So it's like they could do a similar thing, but instead of beefing within their own park, they're beefing with a competing chain and a ride that has held the height title for longer than any other coaster has, I believe. I'm just saying that off the top of the head, but I'm pretty sure that's true. There was the whole height wars where 200, 300, and then 400, and then it just flatlined. So it would be pretty monumental to break the height record again in such a fashion.
It would. Until Falcon's Flight opens like a year later.
But that doesn't matter because they love to just break it and then hold on to that. And you can do that.
Know. Well, even if you look at some of the footage I have, even in my Cedar Point Ranked video of Chop Thrill Dragster running, they have banners that were like world's first strata coaster, right? Even though that might not technically be correct, but it was the first full circuit, you know, like that's something they definitely hold on to and will hold on to forever. They still got merch saying first Giga Coaster for Millennium Force and, you know, first Hyper Coaster for Magnum. So
they can still hold on to the continuous circuit, correct? Because even with a swing launch, it would still go from point A back to point A and at another, like all the way around. Horrible job of explaining it. But just because it does a random little section, it still goes through the full circuit. Because like Pantheon's continuous circuit, Icebreaker's continuous circuit. Yeah,
and then oh man. Falcon's Flight supposedly is going to be 607 feet tall. So that's...
Yeah. I mean, I know there's been a lot of talk around Dragster being 500 or not because it would be the first coaster to break that specific mark. But I think just doing tallest would be enough, and it wouldn't be too difficult. What is...
Here's the thing, too. Who's going to Saudi Arabia from the U.S.? You know... outside of
I know that's a whole discussion in and of itself.
A couple fringe enthusiasts, right? And that's, you know, 0.0.
It means almost nothing to the general public of the United States.
Where you could just be like, this is the tallest in North America or the Western Hemisphere even, and people would still flock to it like crazy. You could still technically argue tallest in the world, and if it does end up being tallest in the world, like, you know, Cedar Point you'd think would do. I
mean, it'd be the tallest in the world freestanding.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you could totally just leave those banners up like they did for, you know, the fact that 100%. It was the first strata, and you know, people are not going to change their minds about it. And either way, people aren't going to hear about Falcon's Flight unless, you know, Saudi Arabia puts together a couple $100 million for a marketing campaign, which they might, honestly, knowing how they've spent their money in the past decade. It's pretty insane how they're trying. But to even then, it's
just travel is expensive, right? It's way easier for me to go to Ohio than to a different country.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean,
so it's still even if there's a huge push to market towards us, it's still not gonna affect the majority of the general public, or even like a small percentage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, $1,800 round trip is the cheapest flight. LA to Riyadh.
Yeah, I mean, is someone going to do that, or are they going to, you know, drive for a few hours to Cedar Point, or, you know, book a $200 to $400 flight to Cedar Point? You know what I mean? So
and then stay at Hotel Breakers, and it would still be cheaper. So
it's not even comparable.
Yeah.
But yeah, so King to Cause 456, so it'll only have to go like 40 feet to break it.
Just about, yeah. But a lot of people are thinking, because there's the 3 V's in Rev'd, right? V is 5 in Roman numerals. So people are like, oh, 555, 555 feet. But that just doesn't, to me, that doesn't make sense.
In the what now?
So it says there's one of the teasers says Rev'd with 3 V's.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. 555.
Yeah. So
555 is what they're thinking.
Yeah, that makes no sense to me. It being 100.
I mean, the V's like that have to mean something. I feel like no.
I think it's for the launches.
They look stupid. Oh, 3 launches.
I think it's for launches. Yeah, personally.
Yeah, I mean, 3 launches seems like it would make sense. Like it. I know it's not like a short launch track, but you definitely ain't getting up to 420 feet, 120 miles per hour off of a single launch on LSMs.
You could get close. You could get close, but I don't think you could officially, you know, make it over with certainty. So.
Do you think 3 launches is best?
Yeah, probably.
Because I don't. Yeah.
It
It
won't
just
change
pads the ride time, which
capacity.
is nice because
Yeah, it pats the ride time like crazy. You won't change capacity because they'll still be loading by the time you hit the brake run anyway. Like the ride will go
I
from
guess.
like 17 seconds to maybe 50, and that's that's such a monumental difference.
Oh yeah, because I mean, one of
So-
my biggest problems with it is that it's just like snap and you're done. So
Yeah. We're literally like the 5 extra seconds on accelerator pushes it way above,
a
at least in my
%.
mind.
Well, and the
top draw.
quicker rate of acceleration too. But yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
yeah, but the 2 turns literally.
Well, it's
make
because you get
such
to.
a huge
It's the
difference.
same reason that like Millennium Force is super good. It's because you get
Yeah.
to feel the continuation of that great speed.
Yeah,
You don't want to just feel it for half a second. Like it is so much more impactful to be feeling that speed for a longer duration versus like feeling it for a second on the launch track, not feeling any speed at all on the top hat, and then feeling it for 2 seconds before hitting the brakes.
Yeah.
I think there's actually even more Dragster stuff that I guess I'll try and cover quickly.
Yeah, I think some more
New
supports showed up or
supports
something.
arrived.
Yeah.
I mean every channel in existence is covering this, right?
Yeah, pretty
So
much.
here's new supports, and they are painting the current structure.
Yeah,
which-
gray and white. Or like silver.
I think
is the
that'll
track
look
color.
nice overall.
It's a little plain to me.
It is a
If they
little
do the
plain, but
whole
I think it
tower
will
like that.
objectively look better. Because I mean, the
That's-
yellow it doesn't look good. It just is Dragster, I guess.
It's just very
if
bright.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
it
you're
is
go-
nice and bright and poppy.
Going from super bright in that skyline to literally like the most monochrome possible. That's kind of, I don't know how I feel
That's
about it.
true. Yeah, that's a good point.
Because also you
Um,
have the bright red of Magnum and then the bright blue of Millennium and then it's
I don't know
gray.
about bright blue, but yeah.
I mean,
No, it's a colorful
definitely bright in
skyline. It's a
comparison.
colorful skyline, and it'll take away from that. Yeah, that's a
Um,
fair point. It definitely fits
yeah.
the theme better. The yellow
if-
was an interesting choice. Very.
If they're sticking
like-
with the racing theme, which we think they are, I mean, yeah, I think
we know they are. I mean, it says racing literally
Yeah.
on the floor. Of the
Watch it be
pictures I
space
had up,
themed.
so.
just randomly it's like, oh yeah, no, this
Racing in space with
I mean,
Jimmy Fallon.
is- honestly, that sounds very. I mean, they've done it before, right?
Oh wait, sorry. This
Disaster
isn't
Transport.
Universal.
Oh yeah, speaking
Jimmy
of Universal,
Fallon is not contractually obligated to be in this ride. So yeah, that's it for the dragster stuff.
Yeah, do you want to talk about Minions at Universal real quick?
Not really.
What do you- oh yeah, me too. Okay, cool. All right, so it's such a
It
so bad
opened.
looking.
Or soft
anyway,
open.
speaking of new
We
things,
can actually talk about it if you want, but I don't care.
I have
Like, it
nothing
just-
to talk about with it besides it looks bad. It's a bad
seems like-
idea. It's literally so bad. Anyway,
It needs more Jimmy Fallon.
honestly, at this point, just make it as bad as possible and make it like The Room, where it's enjoyable with how terrible it is.
Well, we were. We say we don't care about it, but we were talking. It would have probably just been cooler, like the Omni Mover for a
Yeah.
attraction. Is actually an interesting concept. Just a walk through style ride, but where you don't have to walk. That would have been better.
Yeah,
Because like some of the
totally.
props and stuff looked cool, but it needn't to be a game. There's already a Minions ride in that park, and there's already a Shooting Dark ride in the park. Very odd to just combine the two.
Well, Men in Black is. It wouldn't
Not for
shock me
children.
if that's not for children.
Oh,
one, but
on its way out.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's on its way out. Sadly, I love that ride. But yeah, I think it's only got a couple years left, and that's probably what they were thinking is, well, we need to replace the shooting ride. So
Oh, that's even more depressing to think about that as a replacement to that.
yeah, it's so.
Yeah, we should just
awful.
move on to the next topic.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I even went against what I said I was going to do and started talking about it. That's my
Yeah,
bad.
this is gonna be a bit where we're just like, it's bad, but then we actually talk.
It was
anyway,
supposed to be a bit where like, oh yeah, that happened, like where it's not even worth talking about. I regret it. Should have not spoken.
Speaking of bad, Oklahoma. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry to all that.
Wow. You talk.
No, Texas-
I'll put the Ace post on the screen.
Texas is
And,
bad.
You
Oklahoma's
talk. I'm
good.
gonna let the cats out real quick.
Okay, yeah. So American Heartland Theme Park was officially announced to be opening in fall of 2026 in pretty much the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma, like northeastern Oklahoma, only a couple hours from Silver Dollar City in Missouri, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, American Heartland theme park. It's pretty much Disney's America, but brought forward about 30 years is what it seems to be.
Trying to think of.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's actually...
this is giving something. What is it giving? Yeah,
Disney's... Can they even hear you, Mario, as you're yelling
no.
across the room?
I'm yelling to hope that the mic can pick it up. Yeah, Disney's America, that is what it's giving. I'm like, what does this seem like? I feel like I've seen concept art like this before, but never seen it in a park. Nobody wants this theme. Sorry.
But if you don't know what Disney's America is or was, back in the 90s, Michael Eisner, the CEO of Disney at the time, was trying to expand the parks market like crazy. Euro Disney opened in Paris. Hong Kong would open eventually in 2001, and then also California Adventure opened under that guise as well as MGM Studios, a couple other parks. At that same time, they were trying to open a park called Disney's America, and it was going to be based on different parts in time in America. So you'd have like a revolutionary land, an industrialization land, all this stuff throughout all of American history, and it was going to be right outside of DC. There was a bunch of land disputes with it. It ended up being canned. Then Disney offered to buy Knott's in the 90s and replace like half of Knott's with the Disney's America concept, while including Ghost Town supposedly. But the family was too worried about what Disney was going to do with the park, and they were going to rip out too much of what Knott's was. And then they sold to Cedar Fair, which Cedar Fair arguably did way more to destroy what Knott's had in place at the time anyway. But that's a whole different video that I'm going to make in the future. This is kind of a play on that. Every land is a different either part of the U.S. or time period of the U.S. So some of the lands that have been announced are like the Great Plains, which is going to be themed to like the farmland in central U.S. And then Hometown USA is going to be kind of, it looks like a 1940s, 1950s Midwest downtown, which looks really cool. The overview of the park is really pretty looking.
It looks pretty, for sure.
It looks like the same artist that did all of the Universal concept art.
Okay, that would make sense. There's actually a couple things I do want to talk about. Okay, did you see Charlotte's Web ride? I did not notice that when I was just browsing these posts casually on the Ace Post top link.
Yeah, no, I see it now.
There's Charlotte's Web ride.
I guess that's copyright free now? I don't know.
Oh, it's public domain?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Interesting. Go a couple slides right of that.
Well, give me a second. I have to relog into my Instagram because it's like bye-bye. So you can talk about it.
There is... You don't have to be logged into Instagram, doofus.
It's not letting me click on the...
What? Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose I'm the doofus for calling you one. There's a ride that looks very similar to Velocicoaster. And I know this is just concept art and it means almost nothing. Although the Universal Epic Universe concept art versus the coaster that's being constructed isn't too dissimilar. But yeah, there's a very Velocicoaster looking ride. It has what looks to be like a near identical top hat to Velocicoaster on the left, and then on the right, the furthest right is not something that Velocicoaster has, but just to the left of that looks like identical to the Spaghetti Bowl section. What does that mean? Probably nothing, because one of the things that we'll get into is whether or not this will even happen. But that was just something that stood out to me as very interesting, that they used a near identical mock-up of Velocicoaster in one of the concept pictures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. It's... So this is something that's really cool in my mind as well. It's the fact that this is actually being put together by former Disney Imagineers, which that's exciting. Last time that happened with a park was Islands of Adventure. Yeah, and Islands of Adventure.
I was not aware of that.
One of the best parks of all time. But
oh my god, I'm such an idiot. I do have to log in too. Damn.
Yeah.
You're right.
Well, I'm looking at all the videos. I had to restart my video, by the way. So it's only going to be a problem for me. But yeah, looking at all this stuff, it's pretty insane. I mean, I don't remember all the names of the lands. I saw somebody going over it a couple days ago, but it looks absolutely phenomenal. There's going to be like a Route 66 go-kart track all the way around the park as well, which is pretty interesting if you ask me. Yeah, I'm trying to get better looks at it. Okay. Yeah, so like instead of a train ride around the park, they're going to have some sort of Route 66 car ride, which I think is kind of cool, especially since it is on Route 66 in Oklahoma. There's going to be like a kind of like a Edison themed industrial land, kind of futuristic type of deal on the left-hand side of the park. What looks to be the visitor center from Jurassic Park is going to be near the front entrance. A GCI in the right corner, which is kind of cool. There's tons of stuff, including on-park hotels. This is supposedly, I don't know how to say it exactly, but Veneta, Oklahoma is the town that it's supposedly going to be put in. Which I'll find out where exactly that is.
Let's see all their posts. Yeah, I was actually having trouble trying to find. Oh, okay, yeah, Veneta. Or that's just how I decided to say it. I have no idea. But yeah, what do you think about its location?
Yeah, I was mentioning it while you were walked away, but the fact that it's really close to it's only
I can hear you. I heard everything you said.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. It's in the middle of nowhere. I'm very confused.
Because I showed all this concept art to Javi, who is my lovely girlfriend, who is not a theme park enthusiast, but she is with me, so she has to hear about this stuff all the time. And she was confused about the location as well. And first thing she said was, wow, those are such cute renderings. I could see a little TV show existing in this little 3D rendering world. Mm-hmm. But more importantly, she was like, what do you think would be the perfect place for a theme park? And I was like, not here, probably somewhere like Phoenix, because they have a large population and no theme parks. But this is a confusing location to me, man.
Supposedly it's only $2 billion. Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what she said. She's like, I'm sure the land is dirt cheap out there.
That's why. And that would be the only reason I can think is they found a place.
It's just making it because it's cheap and then hoping for the best that people show up.
Yeah.
I mean, I 100% would at some point, but it wouldn't be first on my list.
I would totally do a little road trip over there in 2026, hit it up with Silver Dollar City, Magic Springs, and Frontier City. Like, dude, that's a great week right there.
But again, going to the topic of the general public, they're going to want to, most people would rather pick one place, you know?
Yeah.
For me personally, I would 100% rather do what you're saying is I'd rather it be next to competing parks so that I can visit more than one park. It's just a little confusing because Silver Dollar City is already in the middle of nowhere and a long established destination in the theme park world.
So I'm doing the drive from Tulsa to Veneta, and it's an hour. It's an hour out of the way, which I guess isn't too far in the grand scheme of things, but I feel like that gets to a point.
No, that's plenty. That's plenty close for the region, though. That's plenty close for the region, which doesn't have a whole lot to do locally.
True, but it's like
I think that's actually really fair.
If you're a tourist from somewhere else, are you going to try and fly into Tulsa and then drive an hour?
No, of course
right.
not.
Like that's my thing. I feel like this park would have a lot of appeal. It just being where it's at is just kind of odd. It's odd to me.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, there's competition in the area already. Mm-hmm. Not a large population to draw from. Again, I always think like Phoenix needs their own theme park because there's so many people that just drive to Magic Mountain because it's the closest thing. Yeah. I don't think this is a region that particularly is starving for a theme park.
The problem is Arizona right now. That park would have to be indoors, realistically.
Yeah.
And it would cost.
That's something I was talking about.
10 times more, you know. Like,
what do you think about like indoor midways only, so that everything doesn't have to be indoors? Just as a concept. Midway with like the shops, restaurants, it's practically a mall, but the coasters can still be outside, so you don't have to build ginormous like domes around the coasters.
That's pretty much.
This is my
how it
pipe
is.
dream of an Arizona park.
Well, that's what Mattel is gonna be.
There you go, Mattel. You guys are so smart. You figured out Barbies and an Arizona theme park.
Yeah, Barbie movie. Barbie movie, good. Anyway,
Were there any roller coasters? Hello?
yeah,
There were?
I think there
Oh,
was
you're thinking.
one.
I'm
I think,
like,
yeah, I
Drew,
was thinking about it.
how'd you know?
I think there was one shot of the back in the background you could see West Coaster, I think. But I'm not 100% sure. So
Okay. There you go. That's surprising to me. But yeah, back to location of this. I don't know about it, man.
it's weird. It's very out there. I thought Branson's already in the middle of nowhere.
Well,
right?
it's like, what's
But-
Tulsa's population? And I mean, it's like nowhere near Oklahoma City. So it's like, because I was just like thinking Oklahoma, and like they have Frontier City, which is a surprisingly
400,000.
well themed park, and there's enough to do for locals. I feel like so. You said 700,000?
supposedly,
400. Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah.
not. It's not sustaining a theme park.
and then 687,000 in OKC. So you have 1 million people between the two of those. But again, for a
Well, and then
large
OKC
theme
is
park
yeah.
like that, it's
Also, like, how far is it from OKC? Like,
it's probably, I think it's like a 2.5 hour drive at least.
it's
let me
2.5.
do
You get to Dallas in that time. You got over Texas. You have plenty of
Well-
other things to do in Dallas anyway.
Also, if you're in
I just don't see how it's a destination.
Oklahoma City, you have Frontier City right there.
But yeah, that's what I said, and it's a decent park, and like it has like American Western theming,
Like-
so I know it's not exactly the same thing, and especially if this is going to be like a Disney caliber park, which is like absolute best case scenario, then I see it beating out other parks, but still it's not like it's a vacant market, you know what I mean?
I don't get it, man. I don't understand. So we have a new park with Universal opening in Dallas soon, or nearby in like Grand Prairie or
Wait,
something.
really?
Yeah, so that's gonna
Oh, I
be a
didn't hear about
Universal park.
this.
It's a kids park, right?
Okay.
They're opening that up in the next couple of years, but then also you have this random giant theme park in northern Oklahoma. Like, what is with the amount of investment in parks in this region now? It's so confusing to me. I understand.
I mean,
there's
I
some
think
population
you're right
growth,
with
but
just price to build.
Yeah, it's got.
But you have to build a destination park.
But
And I guess that's
Houston's
what they're
still-
banking on, right? Like the renderings have hotels.
Yeah, it's got.
So they're just
multiple
banking on
hotels.
it being a destination.
But Houston still gets nothing. The largest city in all of that region.
And I guess it sounds
It's
like we're
so
coming
weird.
at this from a really negative perspective. It's just more a very skeptical perspective.
Yeah, it's skeptical and confused.
If I'm saying what I would like, I would like this to open exactly how they envision and to be the best thing possible.
Dude,
That is what I envision. I'm skeptical. New theme parks a lot of times get announced, don't happen,
Well,
or they do happen, and then they're just like a dumbed down version of what was intended.
I think we're skeptical also because of the region it's in. We don't know if it will be able to sustain.
It's confusing, not like the park will be bad or that we don't want it to happen. I am rooting for it. I am just confused by it.
I will absolutely be there when it opens, if it opens. Like that is
On
that is a
opening
trip.
day, you better. If you're not there on opening day, I'm calling you out.
Tell you what.
Let's do it. Let's do it. 2026. If this thing opens, we'll go to opening day.
We'll go to the opening day for that, and then we'll pop over to
I'm
Silver
down.
Dollar a little bit, and then.
I'm
fly back.
literally, dude. I'm gonna put it in my calendar right now. I'm gonna hold us to this.
Honestly, I'd be 2026 is it's far enough away. Realistically,
I might be dead by then. Who knows? Statistically speaking, it's very possible.
Let me look up the Dallas.
Not probable,
park.
but
Universal.
when should I put it in the calendar or have an alarm for? Because it's scheduled for 26. Because God forbid it opens early and we don't hold true to our promise. So I'll set an alarm for a year. 2025 should be soon enough.
I'm sending the link to the Universal Frisco.
September 1st, 2026. I'm going to schedule an
Actually,
event.
don't use that link. That link is bad. It's got ads all over the place.
Okay, I'm still busy putting stuff in the calendar. What's this thing even called? American Heartland actually opening? Question mark? In the notes, I'm saying have to go on opening day with Drew because
I sent a photo of
we said
concept
we
art, by the way.
would on Loopy Doods episode 9. All right, let me see this. Let me see this.
I'll send it on Discord as well. But it's
you know me, I'm too much of a boomer to understand how to
pretty
like, open up
fascinating.
Discord.
Oh,
cool.
Yeah, so that it's gonna be a kid-focused park. There's gonna be a hotel. It's in Frisco, Texas, officially. There's gonna be
Yes, that's my favorite part of Texas that I've heard of.
totally,
for sure,
dude.
Definitely before today.
but there's gonna be a Trolls land, a Shrek land, supposedly a Camp Cretaceous land as well, and another land that I'm forgetting.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
Let me look at the concept art again and try.
Camp
and figure
Cretaceous, for those who do not know, is this like kids Jurassic Park show.
Yeah,
It's a camp.
Yeah. There's another land, but I'm forgetting. Oh, it's Madagascar. That's right. That's why it's all kind of.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah. So it's
All right, so this is the
themed.
screenshot of the Universal Park. Very bright and colorful.
Forget when it's
Interesting.
supposed to open. So let me try and find out.
See, like this makes sense to me, right? Like Over Texas is very like teen, young adult based. I feel like with the type of attractions they have there, but it's not. It would not be my top pick to bring like a kid to. Like I think my
I get that
niece
totally.
would not have like anything to do there. I mean, height requirements, but even just it's not a very like childlike vibe like at all. Nor is it something that like caters to all age range.
The park has been approved for a 97-acre plot of land in Frisco.
Oh, that's massive.
So I mean,
ain't no way it's even gonna take up. Is it? Is it not? Is
not,
97 acres not massive
I mean, it's big. It's about twice the size
for a
of
kids
Knott's.
park? I feel like there's
It's
no way they're even
big.
going to use up all that land. I feel like they just bought it because it was available.
I'm trying to find out the year that it's supposedly going to open, but I don't know if they've announced. 30 acres of it will be a hotel. So
Yeah,
it'll be
okay,
about
that
the same
makes sense.
size.
That makes
Like
sense,
the
that
park,
makes
the
sense.
park will be about the same size as Knott's. So,
What do you? Okay. Where do you think would be the best place to open up a theme park?
I don't.
Just to go back to that hypothetical.
I don't know. I would say Phoenix, but Mattel is appearing now. I would say somewhere in the Northwest, like Seattle, right? But you have Silverwood, and Seattle also is too rainy, realistically.
That's true. That's true.
There's not many places you could have.
But it's not like
opening.
Silverwood is that big.
Well, Silverwood it's still a destination.
And it's
There's-
not like it's like pouring in the summer months when parks are open.
Yeah.
It's no worse than having an outdoor park in the summer in like the Midwest or like Florida where it rains constantly too. I understand it's different types of like bad weather, but like
I mean, I would have put the Universal Park near Austin, honestly, but I get why they didn't because San Antonio is close enough. Probably was their idea. Houston, I'm still confused why there's not a major park there outside of maybe weather and
Houston. That
potential
was the
flooding.
other one. Houston, I was like, well, they had one and it had large
gotta be-
attendance.
It's got to be a flooding.
It's a
concern.
curse to share a parking lot plot or whatever with a professional football team. It
Totally is.
it results in your theme park shutting down. Like
I'm trying to think of
the
other-
whatchamacallit dome.
Other major city centers that don't have a park. I mean, maybe Nashville.
Yeah, Nashville. That's a decent one. I mean, I know there's technically like parks like a few hours either direction, but certainly not very close driving distance.
Yeah, the closest
Houston's
one
the biggest one though, right? Houston's like top 10 as far as population goes, and they don't have a park. They had a park that had good attendance. It's like such a shame that a park with good attendance closed down. Like that's so crappy. So Houston maybe even more than Phoenix, because Phoenix is at least getting something. Yeah. Houston has like 3 coasters within like a hour radius. So Houston's the correct answer. Good job.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at
when I brought up Houston, Javi was like, "But it's so hot there." I'm like, "Javi, if they won't go outside and do anything at all, they're gonna have to deal with the heat down there. Like that is not a reason to just not do something."
Well, a lot of the largest and quickest growing cities in the U.S. are down that way in the Gulf, so it's like they're still already dealing with the heat, right? It's
you're gonna have to deal with the heat regardless. Might as well have fun.
Yeah, exactly. And if they add enough water rides, misters, it'll be good. Anyway, I think that was. I mean, we can tie it back into the America's Heartland a little bit more. I think it's gonna be cool. I'm very skeptical at this point. It's kind of a shock still, to be honest, that this is even potentially going to be a thing. I'm excited for it if it happens.
I need to add alerts to go off a year before the event.
That's fair. That's a good idea, so we can start planning it out. Although I think if it gets to a year before it's going to open, we would definitely know if it's going to open or not at that point. Because it should be, looking like Epic Universe.
No, I know. I just need it to be on our radar as something that we already committed to, and not just be like, oh yeah, I forgot about that thing. It's cool that that's going to happen, and then just move on. Like, oh, it's happening. I need to have like alerts on for their website. I need to know when an opening date is announced, and I need to go. I don't want to forget that we committed to this.
That's fair. All right.
I'm taking this seriously.
But yeah, I think that's about it. We've been going for more than an hour easily.
Yeah, we've been going for too long probably. I mean, not too long. A good healthy amount.
What, 90 minutes?
An hour. Holy crap, an hour 20. Yeah, that's as long as the last one. That is pretty long.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I feel like we got heated and passionate about things that aren't too serious, but
it's fine. I mean, and we love these places. We're passionate about them. We want the best for them.
But dude, it's not over yet, because I wanted to ask about, like, what do you think about the theme? Does anyone care? It's Disney's California Adventure. A big reason that, at least in most people's opinion, a big reason that it didn't do well initially is that it was themed to California when you're already in California. If you want to see California-y things, you're in California. You're going to see California-y things. You're in Middle America, and you're theming it to Middle America, a lot of it anyway. If it's more about being like a step back in time, that might be a little more interesting.
Yeah. Which it seems to be with most of the lands.
But, okay, so experience the Heartland, the Great Plains, where big land and skies invite the spirit to soar, enjoy heartfelt fun, flying thrills, and discoveries for the whole family. Other than the high-flying thrills, you're just describing how that region is without a theme park.
Yeah, literally.
Why are you going to build stuff that already exists in that area? Like, this rendering in particular was the one where I was like, nobody wants that. Like, you could just go to a farm if you want to experience what a farm is like.
Well, I think the Great Plains area is going to be more of a kiddie area. Looking at the video that they have, the renders there, it definitely had like a kiddie teacups and whatnot. So I think that makes sense for a little kids land. Whereas
it says American Land Theme Park will feature
areas are like the electric, the one with the giant, whatever it's called. I can't even remember, Tesla coil or whatnot.
Oh, that's what that thing is? Okay. Yeah, with like the coaster going around it down by the water.
But like that's the more exciting land, and that's very much removed from real life. Like Bayou Bay is another land apparently. That could be cool, I mean, although you're only a 6-hour drive from the actual bayou, But
No, but that's at least not the area that the park is
Yeah.
like currently in.
well, you could argue that with California Adventure a little bit too, because they have areas that are Sierra Nevada. You're still,
Hey,
6 hour drive.
I like the California vibe. I like the vibe of that park, but I'm just like saying I don't know that it makes sense. Okay, it says
No, that's understandable. Totally.
It'll feature 6 distinctly American lands, each celebrating prominent elements of the American landscape: Liberty Village, Great Plains, Bayou Bay, Big Timber Falls, Electropolis, and Stony Point Harbor. I guess Electropolis would be like
That's the land I was talking about. But yeah.
what, that would be like what was the thing that were precursors to like theme parks, like the electrical. Oh God, I feel like you should know this. This is like a theme park history thing.
The electrical.
Yeah, the electric. No, like it was like pre-theme park. It was just like parks that had like hella crazy lights back in the olden days.
I know what you're talking
God,
about, but
this-
I don't remember.
This is gonna bother me. Oh my God. Maybe it was just like electricity parks. Electrical parks. No, that's not coming up. God.
I got the substations all around.
Electric Park was a name shared by dozens of amusement parks in the United States that were constructed as trolley parks and owned by electrical companies.
Okay.
So maybe it's going for like real throwback theme park stuff, which could be
Well,
interesting.
Yes, but it's also, I feel like it's more in line with kind of this weird like Jules Verne, Nikola Tesla type of steampunk-esque thing.
Oh, okay.
Is my guess.
See, that's
but
less
it's-
interesting to me.
It's
to be
kind of
honest.
tough to. It's kind of.
Oh, okay. I think this is the picture. This is one of the pictures from it. Yeah, I don't know. But okay, most of those lands, like, that doesn't interest me, man. I don't know.
I mean, it looks really good. If it's done by former Disney Imagineers, it will be good. I'm just worried about where it's at and the price. Honestly, that's my only 2 concerns.
Well, the price doesn't bother me. You said $2 billion?
$2 billion.
Like, that's obviously a crap ton of money, but like, that's how much like SoFi Stadium cost. Like, so getting a whole
Yeah.
theme park instead of SoFi Stadium, like, I just feel like, and I feel like to build a brand new theme park, that seems pretty low. I don't know. I don't know
Actually,
nothing about
wait.
nobody.
Give me a second. I'm trying to find out how much Universal's
Epic
Epic
Universe?
Universe is gonna cost.
I feel like it's got to be more than that.
Supposedly it's only a price of $1 billion.
Wait, so this is gonna cost. This is gonna cost twice as much.
I thought
It's
it
gonna
was
cost
for
twice as
sure.
much as Epic Universe.
I thought Epic was like $6 billion. I don't know what to think anymore now. Honestly, I'm so confused.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I am too.
That's more if it's twice as much and in the middle of nowhere, that's even more concerning to me.
That's what I'm thinking.
It's either it's gonna have to be like the best thing ever.
Oh, it also says in this post that the development will progress in phases, starting with a large-scale RV park with cabins
Yeah.
and a theme park and resort.
Yeah, so they're going to have multiple hotels, an RV park. I think it's going to be like the largest RV park in the U.S. So they're really hoping for road trippers, which, along Route 66, I get it. And
So their campgrounds are going to open in 25, by the way. Sorry,
Really?
not to continue interrupting you.
I mean, that's
So they're
interesting.
planning on having the campgrounds open first,
Okay.
which is very interesting. I guess they're banking on the people doing the
So where did you
doing
are
the
you
66.
do they have a website? Because
No, so all this stuff I'm checking is on their personal Instagram. So
I see.
they have an
Okay.
actual Instagram page.
Yeah. Let me. I'll
Um,
just click on that real quick.
I'll throw it in the doc. It's at the bottom just because that's where the most space is. That one that I just typed in is their campground Instagram. And let me go back and get you the other one. This is their.
Wait, they have a Instagram specifically for the campground.
I mean, like, you'd think I didn't prepare for this
What?
episode because I'm the one that threw these links in here and I wasn't even aware of it. But I didn't go too in depth so that we could like get our initial thoughts and everything on this. But yeah, that's what it says from one of their one of their
they're-
posts. And
I get what they're doing with it being in the middle of nowhere and really honing in on the fact that you are going to spend multiple days here, whether you like it or not. Dang it, we're gonna be the only hotels in the area.
I mean,
But, like, I
is
get
that their business model? Just like
don't know.
being a campground, and then there's also a theme park there.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I really don't
I
know.
wonder if that could work or not.
They're
I don't
banking-
really like do.
They're
camping,
banking a
so.
lot on car-based travel. That's for sure. Which
Oh
I
no,
guess in the middle of
Drew.
Oklahoma makes sense. But
Drew, you've frozen.
what? I frozen?
Welcome back, everyone. Drew and I's technicals were like beep 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 beep, and things weren't working great. But
no,
it's
this
just
is
about the
what
end of the
happened.
episode anyway.
We were talking some smack on the electric parks or whatever they're called, and they were just like,
electrical parks.
no more internet for you, but
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
Our electricity got sucked away. Yeah, it's
I
weird that it's
just-
going to be a campground first. I guess in case the theme park fails, they have a campground along Route 66.
Yeah, really, I
Maybe
think
that's why.
Maybe that's why it's costing so much. They're building such a large RV park and campground.
Yeah, they
And-
might be focusing primarily on that. Oh, that's what I was going to mention. Indoor family entertainment center as well.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Now the price is.
So it
making
seems
a
like they're
little
doing
more
a whole
Yeah.
big o shebango.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Very
We'll see.
Interesting.
We will see. Construction updates will probably start in the next year for it. I'm guessing from some random person in Oklahoma.
I was going to say, will there even be construction updates on it?
Wait,
'Cause that's
Chris from Maritime Thrills is out in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma, if I remember correctly. So
I thought he was closer to Frontier City, but maybe that's just because he
I mean,
goes
he's-
to Frontier City
he's
a lot because it's
probably
the nearest park
closer.
nearby.
he's probably closer to Frontier.
That's a good point.
City,
He's
but-
probably like desperate for this project to actually happen.
Well, he was saying his home park technically was Silver Dollar City, so he might actually be in the same area.
Oh,
'Cause he
yeah,
was-
maybe
he
he's
posted-
in Veneta or
he
whatever.
posted on Instagram that he was very excited about the park being like his new home park eventually. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he'll make some construction updates. Shout out Chris. Yeah. So I think that pretty much wraps.
That's it for this
everything up.
one.
Yeah. Wow.
And
What an
too
eventful.
long. I got to get going.
Yeah, you
like
do.
now. Actually, it's
Yeah, pretty much.
3:30.
Oh boy.
My
Well,
foot's asleep. I sat on it too long. Hopefully, you all aren't sleeping from this.
No, I think
Hopefully,
they'd
we
be
didn't put you to sleep.
too awake after our rant on marketing for.
Having us yell about marketing. Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, thank
if you made
all-
it this far, yeah,
well,
you take it away.
I was just gonna say thank you all so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. Loopy Doods it's here to stay, especially considering we're filming this early because somebody has to leave to Pennsylvania soon.
I
So
know we
stay
actually
tuned.
like prioritized the podcast.
Yeah, I
Wild.
know. Weird, huh?
Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Send this
please
to
do.
anyone that you think might like it. We want the channel to grow.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
And until next time,
Well, I was also going to say, make sure to stay tuned for Mario's new videos coming out. He's got some new reviews. He's got, of course, some vlogs. I'm sure that'll be coming out of Pennsylvania in the next couple
will
of
vlog
weeks.
Pennsylvania will be vlogged by
And then,
me.
of course, some, since you're reviewing and ranking every single coaster you've ever been on, I'm sure some
That is a
Pennsylvania guys
task.
are going to show up as well. So that'll be fun.
That is a task that I'm undertaking, and
yeah.
they will eventually.
But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Go subscribe to Mario, dang it. And
No, subscribe to Drew.
No, and until
No,
next
subscribe to this
time-
channel. Until next time, stay loopy.
We like to do a bunch of loops. And we don't do drugs. We don't do drugs. We don't do drugs. We only like to ride coasters, no drugs. We don't do drugs. Drugs are for people that like we don't do drugs.